When someone sends a cease and desist letter, most people think it's about the law. It's usually not. It's often about fear, control, and silence. Today, I'm going to be reacting to Wolf and Finance receiving a cease and desist from TPUSA, Charlie Kirk's organization, and I'm doing so as someone who recently received one of these myself for speaking out. Let's just get right into it. This is Wolf and Finance on YouTube.
This week, I received a letter from Turning Point titled Demand to Cease and Desist Defamatory Comments. This is the first step when someone sues you for defamation. I know there are a lot of people out there making videos about Turning Point, so you should pay attention to this. They have started sending out cease and desist letters, and for some reason, they've decided to start with me. Apparently, they cannot handle the criticism from my teeny tiny YouTube channel.
Now, his YouTube channel is not that teeny tiny. I think he has like 300,000 subscribers, but I hear what he's saying.
This letter is showing the world the type of organization Turning Point has become under Erica Kirk. They want to send legal letters to small YouTube creators. So we're going to go through this letter. And by the way, if any of you know a good lawyer in Arizona that handles defamation cases, have them send me an email through my website, because I'm looking for a lawyer.
Okay, to start off, I think it's interesting that he makes videos primarily about finance. I've watched a few of his videos, and he makes videos tying everything back to taxes, tax documents. He investigated TPUSA for some employees, 80 employees that were not put on the document. He was bringing up some suspicious things that he found in their tax documents. And I think it's interesting that he's the first person saying that he has received a cease and desist, given that he talks about money.
So wait, what's the catch?
Sorry about that ad. Anyway, guys, if you know a good lawyer in Utah, please send me an email, the Anti-Alienation Project at gmail.com.
But I view this letter as a threat to sue, and I think any reasonable business person would do the same. A cease and desist letter is the first step towards a defamation lawsuit. I interpret this letter as Turning Point telling me to shut my mouth or they're going to sue me. I do not understand what Erica Kirk is doing. Out of the hundreds of people posting on social media about Turning Point, why are they targeting me?
I would argue, I mean, perhaps it has something to do with the fact that you're talking about the finances and that you mean you have street cred, you have credibility, and you're talking about finances.
Why are they so worried about what I am saying that they're sending me legal letters? I am one of the smallest YouTube channels in my market segment. Who do they think I am? I'm a working accountant with a small YouTube channel.
Yeah, you guys, like, why did I receive one too? Like, I don't have many followers. I have 30 some followers on YouTube, about the same on my Facebook. I'm a very small creator, but people, I don't know.
I have no money. Weird. I have no power. I have no influence. I don't know how much money they think they're going to get from suing me. All I have is the truth. And I'm not going to stop speaking the truth because Erica Kirk doesn't like it.
Well, I do admire him for coming out and saying it. I do. You got to give him props for coming out and saying it. He's not backing down. I've watched his videos. He gives lots of disclaimers, by the way, in his videos. He's very generous. He's very gracious. He sticks to the facts that he finds. I'm proud of this guy. He's not letting the bullies bully him.
The one good thing about a lawsuit is that everything will be out in the open, and Turning Point will quickly find out that I have nothing to hide. The letter came from a lawyer named Paul Edgard Harold from South Bend, Indiana. It seems like this is Turning Point's lawyer. I looked him up, and I cannot find that he has been admitted to the State Bar of Arizona in order to practice law in Arizona, So I'm not exactly sure how he's going to sue me in Arizona, but maybe he's working with other lawyers. In the letter, they order me to, please confirm that you will publicly correct your false statements immediately. This is not what I was going to talk about this week, but Turning Point is demanding that I communicate their statements publicly. So here we go. They include a whole list of statements they claim are false that I have made in my videos about Turning Point. Now, I'm not interested in spreading false information. So I'm glad that Turning Point reached out to me, because if I said something wrong, I am happy to correct it.
For the record, same with me. I do not want to spread any false information. I've consulted with lawyers and they have told me truth is an absolute defense to defamation. As long as you're telling the truth, that's not defamation. And if somebody is a public figure, the standard to prove defamation is very difficult. TPUSA is a public organization. Erica Kirk is a public figure.
So let us go through the statements where they have a problem. And you're going to want to hear this because some of these are wild. On November 16th, I posted a video called Bombshell, Did Turning Point USA Commit Fraud? They say these are false claims. Charlie Kirk ordered a Doge-style audit that was never conducted. Here is my first problem with this letter. They do not include the actual quote that I said in the video. This is a paraphrased statement of what I said, and they are saying that the paraphrased statement is a lie. You have to tell me exactly what I said that was supposedly a lie. And they do this through the whole letter. So my request to this lawyer in future letters, because I'm assuming there's going to be more, please include the actual quote that I said so that I can respond to your accusation. But I'm going to at least try to interpret what they're saying. I spoke in my video about a memo that Charlie Kirk wrote 8 days before he was murdered. In the cease and desist letter, they say, indeed, Turning Point USA's COO announcement concerning the Doge effort never used the word audit. So this is breaking news. Turning Point's attorney has now confirmed that the Charlie Kirk memo is authentic.
Yeah, I don't know if they meant to do that. I don't know if they realized that they were actually going to be doing that by arguing about the word audit. Well, this cease and desist certainly has not managed to intimidate Wolf and Finance into oblivion. Certainly not. By the way, cease and desist letters do not mean someone is guilty. Demand letters also do not mean someone is guilty.
We now have legal confirmation this did happen. It seems like their problem with my video is that I called it a Doge audit, when in the memo it is written as Doge effort. So they want everyone to use the word effort and not use the word audit. This letter is seriously hurting my head. Whatever word you use, the memo is clearly talking about an evaluation of Turning Point. But we cannot use the word audit. We have to call it an effort, or they are going to sue you. The letter goes on to say, the announcement makes clear that Turning Point USA was doing what it has always pledged to donors, ensuring it was being efficient with its funds and time and making changes to foster greater efficiencies. Moreover, Turning Point USA hires a third-party audit firm to conduct an audit every year. This is all just their opinion. This is how they are interpreting Charlie Kirk's memo. They think that Charlie Kirk wrote this memo, and they think it means that they do not have to do anything. How convenient. They think that Charlie Kirk wrote a memo just to tell people to keep doing business as usual. Well, my opinion, and the opinion of many other people, was that Charlie Kirk's memo meant something different. This is not a statement of fact, it is an opinion. This is another problem I have with this letter. Most of the statements they mention are opinions, just like this one. If you are going to accuse me of defamatory statements, they need to be facts, not opinions. If I have a fact wrong, let me know and I will happily correct it. but I will not change my opinion of this memo to whatever you want.
That's a funny freeze frame. Good for you. Good for you, Wilson. It's telling, I think, that they did not come after him for any of the more explosive facts he's presented in his videos. But they're coming after him for using the word audit. What do you guys think? I think this is kind of crazy. And so many people have made videos on TPUSA and Erica Kirk, but they go after him because he was talking about the finances. I mean, I'm not saying that for sure. It just seems like that's a way it can be interpreted. And I watched this entire video. It seems to me like this is some sort of lawfare. It seems like he's threatening. His presence, his videos, what he's exposed is threatening them. Basically, that's my take. That's my take on it. It's about power, fear, speech, being seen as dangerous, which is exactly what Charlie Kirk stood against. That's the irony in all of this. I'm going to skip to the end because he goes over a few more claims that are similar to that. And I would, if you want, you can go watch the full video. It's on his channel, Wilson Finance.
Did you hear about the new trend called soap?
But yeah, no, Charlie Kirk stood for being able to debate calmly and rationally, you know?
Ask questions. Does Turning Point see the irony in this?
There you go.
Charlie Kirk died under a tent with the slogan, "Prove me wrong." His whole college campus tour was about asking questions. And now Turning Point is sending out legal letters to small YouTube channels accusing them of defamation for asking questions. I was asking the question why their COO was an independent contractor. I think that is unusual. That is my opinion. Turning Point is now stating their official position. America's Turning Point lists its COO as an independent contractor because his substantive role for America's Turning.
He's arguing
now
more
we know
of the points that he's arguing more of the points that they say in the letter. But I also just want to talk about the psychology behind cease and desist letters in general. When I just got mine, I don't remember when it was, maybe 2 weeks ago, and a demand letter. Yeah, it scared me. It did. I got scared. That's because cease and desist letters work on your nervous system. They're meant to trigger a fight or flight response, a threat response. You're supposed to feel afraid of financial ruin, social consequences, afraid of, I don't know, what could happen, potential ramifications. And so the fact that this guy got this letter and then goes on to make a YouTube video about the very letter that he got that was meant to send him into a spiral and cause a fear response. There's something admirable about that. What do you guys, do you feel the same way? Do you admire that he's come out about this and shared the letter? Do you think he should have kept it private? Another thing that cease and desist letters are meant to do beyond frighten you and get you to shut up and go away is to signal their authority and power over you. So psychologically, the letter is meant to say, we're bigger than you. We have more resources than you. We are above you. And it's meant to make you feel small, powerless, perhaps isolated, outmatched, and already you're feeling afraid. Also, there's something to be said about the ambiguity of some cease and desist letters, which it seems like the one that Wolfen Finance received from TPUSA was pretty ambiguous. He didn't mention anything about a demand, like a certain amount of money, for instance, or a demand to take the videos down. He didn't mention any demands, specific demands. Also, the claims that they had against him were not even specific. They were paraphrased. And the ambiguity of such letters can be also part of their psychological strategy because it causes you to imagine the worst case scenario. It increases your fear if you don't know what's going to be happening. Our brains hate uncertainty. And a lot of people will just comply, take the videos down, or stop talking, delete your YouTube channel, whatever it might be. Or if you do something else for a living, stop doing that just to make your fear go away, just to make the discomfort stop. And here's the thing about it that goes back to my very first video that I made on Erica Kirk with Darvo. If you're unfamiliar, Darvo is a mechanism that psychologically abusive people use in order to turn the narrative on its head, make you feel crazy, and convince everybody that they are actually the victim and you're the abuser. And it stands for deny. You deny that person, the abusive person denies your allegation, and then they attack you. And then they reverse victim and offender. It's an acronym for Darvo. And so that I would argue that is what is happening here, could be happening here. They're denying all the allegations that he's made against them. And then they're attacking him, claiming that he's defamed them or that he has, caused violence with his speech, whatever they've claimed in the letter. And they're reversing victim and offender. They're trying to make him feel like he is the offender in the scenario. So instead of the organization having to prove wrongdoing, now this individual who simply made videos on the facts of the organization's tax documents, for instance, he feels compelled to prove his innocence. That reversal usually creates shame and a lot of anxiety. That's why I admire this dude for making this video, because he knows that he's in the right. And he even plays clips, if you watch the full video, of him saying things such as, please do not go harass this person. Please do not make any violent threats to this person. He says things like, this could be the scenario, but it might also be this. I'm not saying for certain. So I think he was very, very fair in all of the videos that he has made about TPUSA. So what is this cease and desist really trying to accomplish? I think most people probably can sense what it's trying to accomplish. And it seems to me like it's trying to manage their reputation. Honestly, if the goal were accuracy or correction or something else, I would think that the letter would point out specific evidence that refutes his claims. What do you guys think? Have you received one of these? A legal threat like this, it bypasses any discourse, any evidence, and goes straight to suppression, which seems to tell me that the primary concern is containment. Again, silencing him. Doesn't seem like their first goal is finding the truth. And finally, I'll just end with these letters and these legal tactics, which you could call lawfare in a lot of cases, are meant to isolate you, trap you in fear, get you to be silent, isolate you. And I was not going to even mention that I had received one of these letters. A lot of recipients of such letters never talk about it. Never. Because of the fear that comes along with this. The fear that you're doing something wrong by even discussing it. The fear of escalation. And so that you remain isolated with this knowledge, with this threat. And the isolation usually magnifies the fear. And so that's why speaking about this type of thing and being on the receiving end, it can actually, I think, lessen the fear. It breaks the spell a little bit. So I'm really glad that he decided to share this information publicly. And in this case with TPUSA, I predict that it backfires spectacularly. I mean it. I really do. I really do think that this cease and desist letter is going to backfire on them in a big way. I think this might be the beginning of the real end for TPUSA. You know, just my opinion here, but I think the fact that they are obviously so scared about what he has been saying and the evidence that he has been uncovering, that it's confirming all of our suspicions. It's validating that his speech and his discoveries about their finances have had an impact. Otherwise, they wouldn't have even had the motivation, or they wouldn't have taken the time to put the letter together and send it. I also think that it's painting their organization in a different light than they may have anticipated. I don't think this is going to accomplish what they wanted to accomplish, essentially. I think it's going to signal that they are vulnerable, that they're afraid, rather than that they're strong, that they're in the right, which is, I'm guessing, what they wanted to accomplish. I'm not sure. But I don't think that they sent this cease and desist letter with hopes that it would make them look vulnerable. But basically, once you understand the psychology of lawfare and you start to get in this world and feel the fear that comes with a letter like that yourself, you start to realize that cease and desist letters, demand letters, I don't really know if they're always about stopping illegal behavior. I think in this day and age, a lot of these letters might be about stopping confidence, about scaring you into silence. I think that TPUSA might be trying to make Wolf in Finances too afraid to keep going. And that tells me, well, what else are they afraid of him finding out? But this guy is brave, and he just shared the whole entire thing with the world, which is pretty incredible. I also just admire that. And basically, these letters work by making people doubt themselves before a judge or jury even would. Well, I support this guy. I would encourage you to go watch his videos and check some of his videos out, because he is very factual. Oh, thank you for the super chat. I just noticed this. I appreciate that. Thank you. Tamrat says, I'm scared I will if mine takes off, but I want justice for Charlie Kirk. That's a good point. I wonder if other creators have received similar letters. I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe some of the larger creators will receive some of these letters. I'm a young mom. I have 3 little kids. I'm a stay-at-home mom and I homeschool. We don't have money, so there's no reason to come after me. You won't be getting anything. Yes, I agree, Sage. It was profoundly stupid of them. Profoundly stupid of them. Okay, this is a great comment. Celtic Girl says they literally have no self-awareness about the organization and how their followers are perceiving all of this obfuscation. Very, very bad strategy. Everyone is waking up from this now. Right. Do you think Charlie Kirk would ever send a cease and desist letter to a creator, big or small, because they were asking questions about his organization? I think he would make a video, perhaps even asking them to come on his show to interview them and clear up this situation. Take accountability. Fix what you did wrong. But no. Yes, I would definitely encourage you guys to go watch his videos. Someone says, NC Jan says they're just going to get him way more followers. I hope so. I hope so. I hope. It is shocking to me. That's why I've made a few videos on TPUSA, Erica Kirk, the whole situation. Because, oh, okay, this is good too. Because it's just ludicrous. Koei says, a marginal amount of people truly understand how projection works psychologically. It reveals, yeah, it does reveal. If you understand how projection works, it's basically you're telling on yourself when you project. It is back to the Darvo. So if TPUSA is accusing this guy of defaming them or of sharing infactual information, the projection would be that they have actually shared unfactual information themselves. This is so unfortunate. I just want to say to this guy, if he happens to come across my video, good for you on sharing the letter. I know that probably was not easy. I'm not going to share mine. I'm not that brave. But I really do appreciate you sharing that, because I've been scared. Yeah, I've just been scared to even make any videos after this letter I got, which came with demands. I appreciate that he's made this video, because I think a lot of creators get such letters because it's not that difficult for a lawyer to put together a letter like that, especially in this day and age with AI. It could take like 15 minutes to put together a letter like that and send it to somebody, and the amount of fear it can induce is kind of insane, especially if you are like me and you don't have a lot of money and you're just making videos and you don't have money for a lawyer. It can really rattle you up. So just wanted to make this quick video on that situation because it was so close to home for me. And you might think, what the heck? Why would you be receiving any cease and desist or demand letters? You just talk about child psychological abuse. Yeah, I never would have thought so either. Tamrat, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. He says, or she says, God wants us to continue for truth, justice, Kirk, even if we didn't even all agree with him. Keep going. Yeah, that's the other thing. I get frustrated when people say, oh, why are you covering this? We just need to move on. It happened a few months ago, old news. No, this represents something much, much, much bigger. Much bigger. The deep state. I mean, the health of our country. If our government is somehow covering this up or in on it, somehow, that makes the pursuit of truth regarding what happened to Charlie Kirk vital. Stephanie, I did not receive a cease and desist for any of the videos that I made against TPUSA. Just to clarify that, I did not receive a cease and desist from TPUSA. I want to make that clear. And I'm not going to say who I got a cease and desist from. But it came with not just a cease and desist, but a demand letter for $100,000, which is insane. Which is insane. I don't even have a quarter of that amount of money. So it's not like I'm out here. It's not like I'm out here with 1 million followers or anything. Yeah. So, so yeah, if you are a lawyer or you know somebody in Utah, in case I have to defend myself against a defamation lawsuit, please email me, the Anti-Alienation Project at gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. And just anybody out there who might be afraid because you've gotten a letter in the mail from a lawyer, you're not alone. Thanks for the super chat again. You're so kind. Oh my gosh. He says demand without notice to correct. Yeah, I don't want to go into the specifics. The demand was for that amount of money, or I would get, if I don't pay that amount of money, they're going to sue me for defamation. That was the letter. I simply don't have that amount of money. Like I literally can't, I can't, what's the phrase? You can't get blood from a turnip. I think that's the phrase. You can't get something if it's not there. Like it just won't happen. Anyways, guys, I think that this reveals a lot about TPUSA. I find it very interesting, and I am going to keep my eye out to see if any other creators report a similar thing happening to them and that they're receiving similar letters. This reminds me a lot of the tactics used to discredit parents, false allegations, using a protective order to paint your ex in a negative light. That's exactly what this reminds me of. And let's remember that YouTube and the internet is a platform you can use and you can express your free speech under your First Amendment rights. You have the right to your own opinions, as long as you're not spreading lies. And that's what I think is getting lost here in our country, maybe countries and worldwide too. And free speech is super important. So on that note, I hope you guys have a good night and you have the strength and tenacity to use your free speech. Use that First Amendment right and don't let fear win at the end of the day. All right, I'll talk to you next time. Bye.